This episode's about when you feel like you can't do anything. What is one small thing that you can do? So don't worry about tomorrow. Don't think about what you did yesterday. Think about what is one small thing that you can do today. Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're just joining us for the first time, I know we have a lot of new listeners. Welcome to the biking wellness community. We are so happy to have you here. It is so awesome for us to just have this time together every week where we can chat and we can think about, what's working and how to move forward. And that's what this week's episode is all about. If you are feeling stuck in your movement, in your exercise, in your weight loss, in your life, this episode is for you. We are going to talk about how to start moving forward today. And before I forget, though, really quickly, if you're listening to this episode in real time in August of 2025, I do have a few one-on-one coaching slots available. So I have been coaching women this summer, wonderful women. I've been helping them make progress in their movement goals, in their weight loss goals, and I would love to help you too. So if you are at all interested, all you have to do is DM me on Instagram, the word interested, and we can chat about it. I'm at Sassy Cycling. That's SASCY Cycling. Or you can email me at Stacy, STACY, at Sassy, SASCY.com. Just let me know you're interested and we can take it from there and see if it's a good fit. Okay, so if you're feeling a little stuck and you want some one-on-one help to get you unstuck, oh my goodness, you will get it by working with me. But I know that's not maybe what you need. Maybe you just need a little bit of a pep talk today, and I am absolutely here to give it to you because we are kind of moving through summer. And if you're anything like me, and if you're anything like some of the women I've been talking to, you're feeling like you need to start. And you're feeling like, oh my gosh, the summer has just gotten past me. I had all of these big plans. Now it's almost over. I was actually kind of listening to some women chatting in one of the Facebook groups. It's a teacher Facebook group that I'm in. And they were talking about how they had all of these plans to do all of these Peloton rides over the summer and to do X number of hours of Peloton workouts a day or a week. And before they know it, the school year is just starting up again. And the thing is that wherever you're at, it is never too late to start. You don't need to wait for the school year to start. You don't need to wait for the kids to go back to school. You don't need to wait for the fall. You can absolutely start right now. You can start today. And there are simple, small, doable things that we can do to get ourselves moving in the right direction towards our goal. So today's episode is going to be your little pep talk for breaking out of a rut, for getting started right now, wherever it is that you might be. You absolutely can do this. You know you can do it, and I know that you can do it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. The first piece of advice that I have for you is to stop the all or nothing mentality. Now, you might be sitting here thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't really have all or nothing mentality, but I want to break down a little bit, what is involved in all or nothing mentality so you understand what it is that I mean. I mean, please don't think that you can't make any kind of progress if you aren't doing a really hard workout, because a lot of times we get into our heads and we think, oh my gosh, it doesn't really count. It isn't really like I'm doing anything. I'm just kind of getting up and rocking around the room when I have a couple of minutes, taking a break from my computer. That doesn't really help. That doesn't do anything. And the reality is that it gets your brain into a place where it is thinking about movement, where it is thinking about doing something that is actually in line with your goals. And that absolutely is worth it. So it doesn't have to be this big overture. It doesn't have to be, oh my goodness, I need to go and make a really healthy meal, or I can only have a salad for lunch. By the way, please don't just have a salad for lunch unless you really like salad. If you love salad and you can get all that you need to get in terms of energy from that salad, then by all means, go ahead and do it. I sometimes really like a salad that has farro in it and, some chickpeas and some chicken and some protein. That's a meal. But if you are kind of restricting or thinking you need to really restrict yourself in order to make progress, you absolutely do not need to do that. And if you've been here for a while, you know that I don't advocate for that. But if you're new, I'm here to tell you, you do not need to do that. What you need to do is stop thinking that those small little things that you're doing aren't enough, that they aren't good enough, that you're not good enough, that there's something wrong with you if you aren't doing something big all of the time, if you aren't following a strict diet, if you aren't following strict rules, if you aren't going for a really long bike ride. It does not need to be that in order for you to lose weight, in order for you to get stronger, in order for you to make progress. Because if you're thinking you have to do these big things, then you're just going to stay stuck and you're not going to move forward because you aren't starting. All you need to do is start. So if you're thinking, okay, well, what does that look like for me? I have some suggestions for you, some ideas, some things that you can do to get started right now. You could drink a glass of water right now. That will help you meet your hydration goals. That will help you stay hydrated. That will help you figure out, if you think you're really hungry right now and maybe you actually are just thirsty and you need a drink. So drinking a glass of water right now is a great thing that you can do right now that will get you into the mindset of thinking about how you can make progress today. You could go for a walk, a 10-minute walk. You could take a break from your computer and walk around the office, walk around the building. You can do something really small that involves movement. I've been seeing a lot of talk lately about how, those of us who are actually finding ways to incorporate more and more little bursts of movement throughout our day, not intense movement, but just movement in general, that is actually really helping and increasing our longevity and our physical fitness over time. So all of that counts. All of those little things matter. Things like parking a little bit further away at the grocery store, that stuff matters. Things like going for a 10-minute walk on your lunch break, if that's all you have, that stuff matters. Doing 5 minutes of, stretching or squats. 5 minutes of squats is a really long time, but even just doing, 5 squats, that is a way of getting yourself in the habit of thinking about doing something active. And that is going to help make progress over time. All of those little things that you do over time, they add up. I actually do calf raises when I'm brushing my teeth. I used to do squats when I was brushing my teeth, but I realized that I really needed to put a little bit more effort into my form when I was doing a squat because I have a tendency to get some strain on the outsides of my thighs. So I've been taking to, doing some calf raises while I'm brushing my teeth. Is that going to give me the strongest calves known to women? No, but it keeps me in the habit of thinking about my health and fitness and moving my body and finding little ways to incorporate movement into something that I'm already doing. You want to pick something to do today that is really small, that is something that you literally cannot fail at. It's almost impossible for me to fail at doing 10 calf raises while I'm brushing my teeth. It's almost possible for me to fail at, getting up and taking an extra walk down to the curb to put some recycling in instead of waiting for the bin to come back up. Those little things over time add up, and not just because they increase your step count on your watch or on your Fitbit or on your whatever, but because they are encouraging you to be in the habit of moving. So, I try to do this sort of thing all of the time. Like that little recycling bin trick, I did that this morning because I knew that I was doing a lot of things today that wouldn't necessarily involve movement. A little bit later today, I'm going to be bringing my son to baseball lessons. I'll go for a walk during his baseball lessons because I know that is a way that I can incorporate movement into something I'm already doing. So stop the all or nothing mentality and just realize that every little bit counts, okay? So that's the first thing that I want you to be kind of thinking about. The second thing that I want you to think about is I want you to think about the here and now and today and not worry about tomorrow so much. Now, you might be thinking, Stacy, you have told us to plan our meals. You have told us to plan our rides. And yes, in a perfect world, we would all kind of have a weekly plan for our movement. We would sit down every Sunday, and in our journal, we'd write down what days of the week that we are going to work out. And we would write down when our backup times and days will be if we, life happens. We have a backup time during the day where we can fit a bike ride in later and so on and so forth. And then in a perfect world, every day, first thing in the morning, we'll sit down and we'll plan out what we're going to have for today from the prefrontal cortex, from the thinking part of our brain so that we aren't impulsively eating. But not everybody can do that all of the time. And that's not what this episode is about. This episode's about when you feel like you can't do anything. What is one small thing that you can do? So don't worry about tomorrow. Don't think about what you did yesterday. Think about what is one small thing that you can do today. So the idea is that we're building momentum here. So momentum comes from these small little things. Think about how good it will feel at the end of the day if you have incorporated little ways to move your body throughout the day, or incorporated ways where you can get some more water in, where you can make some good food choices. And when I say good food choices, I don't mean like super healthy, clean eating food choices. I think I'm going to do a whole podcast on clean eating, honestly, because I see people saying they're eating clean all the time. And that's not what this whole journey is about. What it's really about is being mindful. And what we can do is we can say like, all right, I don't have time to plan my meals today, but I do have time to make a decision about like the number of cookies I am pulling out of the pantry right now. Maybe I'm going to pull out 2 instead of 3. Maybe I'm going to put my snack into a bowl and eat it out of a bowl instead of eating it right out of the bag. Those are little things that you can do today so that at the end of the day, you're going to be starting to feel like you have a little bit of momentum, like you have started, because all we are talking about is getting started. All right? So make it doable. Make it reasonable. Keep it small. It doesn't have to be this big, big, huge thing. I work with some women who are former high achieving athletes. And what I find is that a lot of times, and I think that many of us are like this, we are always in our heads going back to when we were really working out really hard. When I know in my brain, I always go back to the winters where I was training on my indoor trainer, on my Wahoo trainer, and I was on Zwift, and I was doing either Zwift or Trainer Road, and I was doing these pretty intense for me training plans where I was kind of regimented and on this schedule. That is not what we are talking about today. We are talking about incorporating small, doable ways where we can move our body and make it be a part of our everyday lives. So those things that I was talking about earlier, like parking a little bit further away at the grocery store, taking the stairs instead of the elevator. We do this in my family all of the time. In fact, over the weekend, we were actually away. My husband was riding in day 0 of the Pan Mass Challenge, which is basically a 100-mile ride from the New York border to Sturbridge. And my son and I were staying at a hotel so that we could help with transportation of luggage and logistics and so on and so forth. But we took the stairs. We were on the 4th floor and we kept taking the stairs. It was a great way to get a little boost in. And oh my goodness, I have to tell you that he also decided this. I would love to say this is my influence, but it's probably more my husband. But as we were, finishing up breakfast and getting back to the hotel, we had an amazing breakfast. He had 2 awesome pancakes. He was so happy. He says to me, he says, I feel like I haven't done a lot of movement today. I would really like to go to the fitness center. And so he wanted to go to the fitness center and walk on the treadmill. My son is 10. And I just thought, first of all, I really don't want to do that. I would love to sit on that bed in the hotel room and watch some kind of trash TV or something like that. But I thought, how awesome is it that we've set this example where our kid wants to move and he wants to make sure that he incorporates movement into his day. And so we went to the fitness center and, we didn't do anything crazy. We walked on the treadmill for maybe 15 minutes. He might have been running. I was walking. We lifted a couple of weights, that sort of thing. I obviously supervised him in his form, but it was a way for us to kind of be active together. Think about small doable ways that you can be active, even incorporate your family into it. If you can only hop on your bike for 15 minutes, that's fine. Sometimes I'll go downstairs and I'll just do a 10 or 15 minute Peloton ride because that's all I can do, just because I want to stay in the habit of moving my body. So it doesn't have to be this really big thing. These little bits of movement kind of wake your body up and get your brain thinking, I'm someone who moves. I'm someone who moves my body. I move my body regularly. When you take your snack and you put it in a bowl, you're saying, I'm somebody who, kind of mindfully eats my food. And I take it out of a container and I put it into a bowl and I enjoy that snack. That is way better than standing in front of the pantry and just shoveling in anything that you can get your hands on. Even if you are really hungry in that moment, you can still eat, and you can still eat in a mindful way. And the more times you make choices about food like that, the more times you incorporate more movement into your day, the more times you just start and do something is always better than nothing. And something is going to bring progress and help you make progress towards your goals. So as you're kind of listening and you're thinking about what I've said and you're wondering, what can I do today? I just want to kind of mention a couple of things that I'd love for you to kind of keep with you. The first is to stop waiting for the perfect time to start. Stop thinking like, I'm going to wait until I go back to work in order to start eating my healthier lunch. I'm going to, just kind of go crazy over the weekend and I'll start again on Monday. You can start right now. You can start today. The idea behind the choices that we're making is that these are lifestyle choices and they are supposed to fit into our lives. And they are supposed to feel good. They are supposed to feel manageable. They are supposed to feel doable. So stop waiting for, when your routine is going to change. Stop waiting for the summer to end. You can actually start right now. The next thing is that I would like you to think about the idea of not only is something better than nothing, but there is going to be one small thing that I can make today. There's going to be one small thing that I can do that is going to make today just a little bit better than yesterday. And this isn't dwelling on whatever happened yesterday, but this is, what is one little thing that I can do today to make today just a little bit better? These little steps add up to big changes over time as you keep moving forward. Are there always going to be setbacks? Sure. But when you get good at starting, when you get good at coming back into it, getting your brain refocused, getting your body moving again, remembering how fun it is to feel good and strong in your body, to choose foods that feel good in your body, to make choices that incorporate more movement into your life. When you think about that, that's when you start to realize, oh yeah, this is just the kind of person I am. I am the kind of person that finds little ways to add more movement and to add better choices into my life every single day. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to, completely disassociate from whatever it is that you're doing right now. You can just say like, hey, something's better than nothing. What can I do right now that will make a little tiny bit of progress towards my weight loss goals, towards my strong body goals, towards my movement goals, my biking goals? One small, manageable, doable thing. Alrighty? So that is my message for you today, my friend. I hope that you're inspired to do something to start today, to start right now. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, as I mentioned, I do still have a couple of spots open this summer. I don't know when I'm going to be able to offer this opportunity again. So do DM me on Instagram at Sassy Cycling or email me at stacy@sassy.com and we can explore the idea of working together. I'm really flexible. I have some women that I'm just working with via email because meeting over a Google Meet call doesn't make sense. I have other women that I'm scheduling calls with, and we kind of have a hybrid email call coaching system. So I'm sure there's something that I can do to help you meet your goals. So if you are interested, just DM me the word interested, send me an email with the word interested, and we'll take it from there. Also, I would love to hear from you just in general, and I'd love to know what your one small thing is that you are going to do today, that you are going to do right now after listening to this episode. Just go ahead and DM me on Instagram, send me an email. I really, really want to hear from you. And finally, if you have a friend that you know is kind of floundering, that needs a little help and a little encouragement to just get started, please, please, please send her this episode. I would love for her to hear it, and she will be so grateful and so thankful. So I am so grateful to you for spending this time with me, for us to have this time together on another episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. And until next time, my friend, happy riding. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, SASCY.com/guide, to get my completely free Lose Weight Biking Quick Start Guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's SASCY.com/guide.